Really encouraging everybody to learn about enzymes because here would be another gold tidbit for babies. You know what protease also does? It pulls fluid. So when a baby gets an earache, you get them on high protease, it'll pull the fluid out of the ear. See? You get swelling in your body. Load up on high protease, like you sprain an ankle. Take 4 of those systemically every hour or two for 3 or 4 days. It's a whole different animal then. So that's just a little side note on the use of protease, okay? Okay, so then, I want to cover this subject. I actually hate this subject because I'm all about wellness, not about weight loss. How many would agree that any extra weight, by the way, whether it's on the inside and you look thin and you're fat on the inside, did you know that happens? Yeah. And you can be just as heavy on the inside as you're on the outside, and thinking that looking at the outside tells you anything about the inside. No. If you're not doing the job, if you're not doing the things to take care and be a good steward, you could be just as heavy on the inside as you're on the outside, right? The point is, it's not about the weight, is my point. It's about getting healthy. But that being said, I'm going to tell you, there's so much stuff in the weight loss industry. There is only one thing, all the rest of this is myth. Let me tell you how you lose weight or gain weight. It's the same. And you guys relate to this. If you put as many calories in and you burn that many out, guess what that means? You're going to stay the same. If you put more calories in and you don't burn them off, you're going to gain weight. Has to happen. That's the scientific answer. If you put more in and you burn more off, you're going to lose weight. That's just the facts, okay? So if that's not happening, don't look at everybody else. Don't read the books. Look at yourself and say, okay, if I increase my exercise, now some people already exercise enough so that you wouldn't even go there. So that means I need to look at not movement, I'm already moving a lot, I need to move into this direction. Some people aren't moving at all, they need to really start beefing that up. But it's got to be two things, but you got to do whatever it takes to increase the burning of the calories. So exercise for sure, but I'm telling you, if you never exercise and you just do the calories, now don't count the calories, just look at your body. If you're trying to lose some weight and you don't lose it for 2 weeks, that's enough time to say I need to make a change. Except for if you're losing weight and all of a sudden it stops and then it doesn't for 2 weeks, that's your body saying, I just need a break. Don't worry about it. We're not in, Rome wasn't built in a day. But after 2 weeks, then if it doesn't, then you need to change something. Because sometimes it just needs to take a rest. Okay? So what you want to do then is then you have to say, okay, not based on anybody else, either I need to stop eating at night, or I just need to stop eating it in the morning, or I just need to cut down on my portions. But I'm telling you what, it's a scientific fact. If you change something and be patient, it has to happen. It's the physiology. It's just that simple. There is no other secrets, okay? There's no secrets to weight loss, okay? What you put in has to come out. I mean, simple science, all right? Also, I wanted to give you something that this is important for men and women. And this is the whole subject of hormones. I mean, where my word, this world is crazy with all these hormone problems that are going now, okay? So I wanted to tell you that a lot of people, they go to the doctor and they're treating their thyroid. So just a little piece of news, okay? Almost all thyroid problems don't come from the thyroid. They come from the brain. And so they're treating the thyroid. Everybody's heard of that test called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. They do like T1, T3, T4, and thyroid. Those TSH is not a thyroid hormone, it's a thyroid stimulating hormone that comes from the hypothalamus pituitary. So in order to get your hormones in balance, you need to start at the brain. And the reason I'm telling you this is because there's people, I do this all the time, but there's a lady, I want you to write her name down, Craig and Cecilia know about her, but she is a specialist in helping people with hormones, and she's developed these products that are about the hypothalamus and the pituitary. Dr. Martin in Kansas City, he has stuff he does, but it's hypothalamus, not thyroid. Now, yeah, these are fine to deal with these, but usually the issue is up here. So I'm going to give you her name. It's Melizza, M-E-L-I-Z-Z-A, Reyes, R-E-Y-E-S. Her telephone number is an 800 number. It's 1-888-499 9100. She's just a beautiful ball of energy Filipino woman. Right, Cecilia? She's Filipino? Yeah. And she is just really easy to talk to. And if you haven't, the other thing I want to pass along is, if you have any questions on hormones, you can call us, but she's awesome. And she's talks to you in a lay language. She can help you kind of understand what's going on there. And I use 3 of her products that are like a trio together when I'm trying to help somebody get that balanced out. And so again, always taking the thought about your thoughts, right? Remember, products don't do anything if we don't have this thing. I always keep that at the top. Yes?
Now, would you put the hormones side by side with the thyroid?
The thyroid, see the pituitary, hypothalamus, thyroid, adrenals, and all, it's all one system, right? That's your endocrine system. But this is the boss. Why do people have hot flashes? It's their thyroid, okay? But what controls the thyroid, so if your TSH is off, you can do all the Synthroid and do all that stuff you want to do. You're not going to solve the problem. Because when they give you hormone therapy, they're giving you something that's going to throw everything else out of balance. That's like them thinking they know what's going on. The body's the only one that knows what's going on. You want to stimulate the body to do its own thing instead of doing this bioidentical stuff. And again, that's a step up from what they used to do, but it's still trying to take over what your body's supposed to be doing. So depending on how much damage has been done, if you've got your thyroid cut out, you've got to do something. That's common sense. But if you got one, you want to cut it and make it work the best as possible. And Rena-Lee, everybody knows Rena-Lee. Just a side note, the lady she went to, Janet Jones, I talked to her about her last year. She does biocranial here in Scottsdale. So she's an awesome person to look up for getting the brain turned on, and that part of the work that I do. It's just wonderful. And Rena-Lee got some good testimonies about her because she's been going to see her, and we found out that she, this is amazing, but not Messianic believer. Wow. I don't even know the woman. I just picked her out, felt like this is a person I could send people to her, and I've had several patients through the years come to her, and this is a real testimony. They say when she's working on them, and they can't see her, she's behind them, if they didn't know it was her, they would think it was me. What does that tell you? That's a duplicatable therapy when it's done correctly. That's awesome. Isn't that awesome? That the patient would say that. Okay, then just address another thing about optimal wellness is pH. We've heard about pH, right? So, I mean, you can get crazy and get really into this stuff, but seriously, it's a fact that viruses and bacteria, which is a lot going on, they love acidic pH. So you want to do everything you can to get alkaline. There's no more alkaline food than raw. Now, people say, well, what about oranges? They're acidic. They're only acidic until you put them in the body. Now, this is amazing. The food that Father created turns, except for a very couple of them, like blueberries, which I eat a lot of, makes alkaline ash. So it's converted from acidic to alkaline. So you never have to worry, well, what can I eat? Eat anything he makes. That's what you do. Anything the Father made that hasn't been messed with, I don't care whether they say it's ads and it should be in this list. No. Because it goes in and it makes alkaline ash, which is all we need to create a healthy environment. So if you get enough alkalinity, it'll counteract the acidity, and so then your pH is good. Yes?
I've heard that, and maybe you can help us understand this. What is the relationship between sugar? Because my understanding is that lots of sugar creates high acidity in your body, which dominoes into all of the illnesses. Okay, so
that is absolutely correct.
So less sugar generally is going to be better, period.
Yes, it is. Now, interesting enough, sugar is bad for everybody. But I'll tell you something. If I had to pick between high fructose corn syrup and sugar would be a 10 on what I want to take versus high fructose. And I'm telling you guys, never, ever, ever. Mark, if I had to pick one thing today, you never forget, high fructose corn syrup.
It's in everything.
It is. Now, let me tell you why this is important. It's like behind the mic.
Microphone.
The enemy is trying to get in everything.
Yeah.
So by putting high fructose corn syrup, which they make sound harmless, it absolutely destroys brain cells. Irreplaceable. Brain cells. It kills your brain cells. All these kids eating this cereal, it's in mustard, it's in ketchup, it's in everything.
Yeah.
I would rather they eat sugar. I don't want them to eat sugar, but this is how important this H is. You read the label, if it's got it on there, please don't. I mean, it's not the same as corn syrup, by the way.
Right.
High fructose corn syrup, okay? Just, yes.
And you're saying sugar, you're talking refined sugar, you're not
Yes.
talking about fruit.
No,
Okay.
no.
We need
Why would I say that? Because Father created it. He doesn't create things. They can say, well, you shouldn't eat that fruit because it's going to cause this. Now, realize if you're already sick, even eating too much fruit might feed yeast. But under normal circumstances, when you're balanced, it's like I tell people, if you want to give percentages, in your diet, it's just better to keep your fruit intake to maybe 20% and the other 80%. I mean, just the idea is to do a lot less fruit than do a lot more. But I'll tell you something, you can, for everything I tell you, you can go around the world and you can find fruitarians that are really healthy. Why is it? I don't know. I don't know. But they are, so we can't deny it. You can find ones that are eating all this. They're doing fantastic. So we're just having to deal with what we're dealing with here in the U.S. Yeah.
You know, you talked about the people that lived over 100 years old, and they, a lot of them were, I